Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the NASCAR Heat 5 Career Mode. I hope you're all having a great day. Today, we go racing here in the Xfinity Series as well as the Cup Series. No silly season announcements coming today, but we do have some interesting races, to say the least, in store coming your way here. But we start things out here with the Xfinity Series from Texas Motor Speedway. This is the middle race of the round of 8. It is in the Xfinity Series, so a lot on the line here for these teams, and hopefully Paul Menard can come out of here, of course, with a strong effort and get ourselves looking well above that cut line over that final four position. And of course, if we could win, that would be even better. But when it comes to Texas Motor Speedway, usually we're not really in the mix to win this race, no matter what the series is. We have had a Truck Series win here with the Going Racing team before, but on the Xfinity side, Cup Series side, we've never really had a chance to win a race at this racetrack here. So it was really just about trying to make sure we get a top 10, and just anything better than maybe 8th, 9th place would be really exceeding our expectations here coming into this Texas Motor Speedway O'Reilly Auto Parts 300 here. So Paul, he was on the inside line, moving his way forwards towards the top 10 very quickly. He was once again, as usual, not afraid to be aggressive here, just trying to gain as much time as he could. And unfortunately, this season, what's really bitten us, I mean, throughout this whole career mode, is the qualifying efforts now. That's always been the setback for us here with our Going Racing team in both trucks as well as the Xfinity Series. But Paul, nonetheless, was working his way back forwards. He had now gotten past Sheldon Creed. He got past Kevin Magnussen. Now we come through to the final lap of this race, and it was Rajah Caruth side by side with Tony Bradinger for the win out of turns for the 11 of Allgaier. Looks up the inside of Menard, but it's not going to be enough. And Rajah Caruth wins his way into the final four just barely over Tony Bradinger. So now Rajah Caruth, the first one to lock himself into that final four for that Joe Gibbs Racing team. Bradinger looking really good on points right now. You're about to see the updated playoff grid here in just a second for the Xfinity Series. There you see Bradinger 33 points above the cut line. Menard and Allgaier 4 points above. Magnussen 4 out. Creed 9 out. 15 for Quinn Half and 22 for Alex Labez. We come through now into the Cup Series here at Mid-Ohio, a very interesting racetrack for this round of 8, I think. And I have mentioned it last episode, this is probably my worst road course in my career. I've never really been able to get this down, and not only in the NASCAR Heat 5 career mode, but as well in the Nitro Racing League. I've struggled at this track so much, and you can see how I was having some issues. I didn't run any practice laps, so I just jumped into qualifying. I paid the price. I completely missed the braking zone down here, went into the sand. That completely destroyed the lap. We crossed the line with a 133.989, qualified P36 here in Mid-Ohio for the middle race of this round of 8. And we come into this race at least 31 points above the cut line, so there is a bit of a light at the end of the tunnel, you could say, here, starting this race at least now. But we have to make sure we have a good performance here today. Now, as you never know, a guy below the cut line from 5th through 8th could find a way to win his way in to the round of 4 here. Now, as you see, Brandon Jones on pole, and that already sets up for that plot line to potentially happen here today at Mid-Ohio. Alright, boys, this is probably my worst road course in history, so, I mean, we're just trying to survive today, and if we can get out of here above the cut line, I'll be pretty confident going into Iowa. There you hear myself over the radio to the team getting ready to take the green flag here from Mid-Ohio. I, of course, love road course racing, but this is one of those road courses that I struggle at a lot, and with it being at this point on the schedule, definitely gets those nerves built up here. Now, as you can see, nobody starting at the back here from inspection issues or an engine change or some fresh tire sets put on the car now, but we're going to get ready to go green alongside that number 29 of Cole Custer here, just behind the number 6 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Now, as the middle race of the round of 8 is underway from Mid-Ohio. Now, it is quite a few laps here in Mid-Ohio. It takes about a minute and a half or so to get around this racetrack, so it's a pretty decent chunk of laps you got to do now here as we come through turns 1. This one's pretty easy to get through. Turns 1 really not technical. There's nothing about it really, but you go down into here, it's a very heavy braking zone, and I have a tough time sometimes with the AI here, and you can see me on the back end of the field there, actually just sliding up the inside. We gained a ton of positions as we're already 3 wide out of turns 2, but the corner at the end of this really long straightaway right here is probably one of the trickier corners on the track in terms of braking for it. I always seem to get it wrong. I always seem to brake either too late or too early, and the AI are able to destroy me on the entry there, and you can see me giving up just a little bit of time right here as I actually get pushed from behind from the number 12 of Daniel Hemrick. And then through this section of the course, this is probably one of the more unique ones in this game. It is very easy. It's a lot easier than I expected it to be to just spin the car out through this section of course. So right here you kind of get to calm down a little bit, but then once you go back up here, if you get your car on 2 wheels, it is very easy to just spin the car around, and it is also very easy to get it up on two wheels. So it's very concerning through that section of the course. I guess I'd call that the second sector, and then we move into this third sector, and this is actually a lot easier now. But you can see I'm having a tough time working my way through traffic because unlike any other road courses we usually see on the schedule here on the NASCAR 5 career mode, we're still side by side, 2 by 2, many rows deep here in just this end of this first lap now. So it's only 4 laps in stage 1, but I was definitely having a hard time making my way through the traffic after we had gained all those positions in turns 2 on that opening lap. So now actually I make a mistake right there. That was a stupid mistake on myself there. I just got on the curb, nearly went around. We save it, and then by the time we went down into turns 2, I would try to fight back here around the left-hand side, and we would make this work out now. So we would actually get back in front of the 42 of Tyler Reddick, get past Eric Jones, make a 3-1 with Austin Dillon, and Ryan Blaney, our future teammate Chase Briscoe, now was out front here with a few laps to go in this first and opening stage. Now we had run down 22nd place of William Byron there in that Earnhardt Johnson Racing Liberty University Chevy Camaro, and then we had run down our teammate of Kyle Larson. We just ended up the inside of him here, and approaching just 2 laps to go already in stage 1. We're now moving our way towards the top half of the field. So it felt like I was struggling quite a bit, but we're nonetheless working our way forwards pretty consistently at this point. Of course, if this was maybe like a Sonoma or a Canada or a Watkins Glen, we'd have probably already been up towards the top 10. So not making as much progress as we usually do now as we approach our rival of Joey Logano. We're going to look at the right-hand side of him as we sail it up the inside of Kyle Busch as well. There's now Logano gets into the back of me, pushes me, and that actually helps me get ahead of Kyle Busch. But then out of the corner, I actually get sideways. We save it, push Logano off the track now, and then I decide to not allow Joey on the track. He slams into us, and now he crowds us over to the 16. We just spun Joey Logano out. A big crash down the back straightaway. Justin Haley in the number 16 Colleague car involved as well. Logano big time wrecked, and no caution comes out with the relaxed cautions on. We keep it green, but what a just dramatic change of events out of nowhere as I'm up on 2 wheels. Very fortunate to save it right there. But wow, I decided to not allow Joey to get back on track when he kind of went off. I mean, I kind of forced him off the track because I was saving the car, but it was Joey Logano. He's my rival. I was like, hey, you know what? If you want to get back on the track, you're gonna have to force your way back on track. And boy, was he not afraid to do that. He slams right into the side of me, and unfortunately you saw how it ended. So no caution ever came out, and that, of course, I mean, is going to hurt Joey Logano in the points situation, I'm sure, in the long run of this race here now, as we are fighting up the left-hand side of Kyle Busch on this now final lap of stage 1. And it was a 78 of CJ McLaughlin, by the way, leading here on this final lap of stage 1 now, as I'm trying to put the pressure on Kyle Busch. We look to the left-hand side of him here now as we might be able to pass him, and sure enough, we're going to get ahead of him just about. We are not quite clear now, and as you guys know, 10th place, as soon as they cross the line, the stage is over. So we're just going to try and get Eric Almirola before 10th place is able to cross the line, because CJ McLaughlin is coming through to cross the line right now to win stage 1, and we get to the back of Almirola. Actually got way faster in there than I anticipated and actually damaged the front end of the car. We look up the left-hand side going into the penultimate corner, but now as we get side by side, the caution comes out. It looked like I was ahead, but they actually gave Almirola P17. Of course, that really doesn't make a difference between 17th and 18th for us here. But we're going to come into the pit lane, take 2 cans of fuel as well as 4 fresh tires. A bit of a chaotic end to stage 1, but now we're going to get ready to go back green here for the start of the second stage. We're going to have to make some repairs to the car, of course, as well, and hopefully we can keep this car a lot cleaner here. We lose 1 spot on the pit lane, but overall we know when we keep it clean, we have the ability to gain quite a few positions. So now we're getting ready to go green for the start of this second stage. Of course, in Mid-Ohio, it is time to get amped. There you have the AMP segment here from Mid-Ohio, already now up into P12, passing our Hendrick Motorsports teammate of Alex Bowman. A bit of a mistake right there as I got a little bit sideways, but now running down Anthony Alfredo. We were looked to the left-hand side of him here, out of turn 2, down the straightaway now as I got in the grass a little bit. That kind of halted our progress for the moment, but now going for a top 10 position here as we go down the straightaway. I could have maybe made it 3 wide with Keselowski, with Denny Hamlin, but I decided actually to just kind of play it safe now as actually Alfredo just got punted from behind and then into the right rear quarter panel of me, and around he goes. No caution comes out, but Matt DiBenedetto drove into the back of the 21, who ended up getting forced into the side of my car, and around he went. So very unfortunate. I was already committing to the corner, but now towards the end of the second lap, making a move up the right hand side of Denny Hamlin there. I go a little bit wide, but we do complete the pass. Now Hamlin in his final season here, in his final 3 races of his Cup Series career are underway now as we came through to 3 laps to go in this second stage. Now as we actually came out of the corner, I end up losing the car for the first time here today in Mid-Ohio. This wasn't too bad though. We got the car back going, and thank goodness we didn't hit anything. So I just got on the throttle too hard. I talked about it earlier, being very easy to lose the car in this section of the road course, and unfortunately it happened for the first time here today, and then I nearly loop it around one more time, but very frustrated with myself I was right there, and the rest of this lap was just mistake after mistake. You're going to see right here in the final turn, I make a huge mistake right there, and that would allow Hailie Deegan in the number 4 car to go by on the left-hand side. So we drop back down to P16 instead of being up inside the top 10, as the number 78 car of CJ McLaughlin continues to lead here over the field now. So definitely just trying to get back into the routine here of just not screwing up every single corner, and we were able to get back past Hailie Deegan here with 2 laps to go in this second stage to the left-hand side of DiBenedetto, and that allows me to cut over on Denny Hamlin, but I elect not to do that. I said, you know what, I'm just going to push Denny here down the straightaway, then we're going to pull out here as we go down towards the corner, lunge up that right-hand side here of Hamlin now as we go way too deep into the corner. Thank goodness we somehow managed to keep it on track, but now we're going to be 3 wide with Hamlin and DiBenedetto now up on the curb. We go up on 2 wheels and around we go, and into the barrier we go, and that was all on me right there. I could have turned the car to the right, but instead I was more focused on trying to just stop the car before it hit the barrier, and we just drove straight into the barrier, and now we are down to P25 over another mistake here in the second stage. And first of all, we're very fortunate that was not a DNF, because DNFs are on still, so I got very lucky right there. But now I was extremely frustrated here at the end of the second stage. We come through to start the final lap. I'm running into everything. I'm just like, get out of my way, Daniel Hemrick. I do not want to wait for you. Let's just get going. I push him all the way down into turns 1, trying to sail him out of the way now here as we still run P24. CJ McLaughlin still leading the way, and we're getting beat by the guys below the cut line that are trying to, of course, point their way in or win their way in. But what's fortunate for us so far is really none of them are getting any stage points really, other than Brandon Jones. So it's not like we're actually really losing points to these guys, even though we're having a terrible run. So it's all really now down to how we do in stage 3 here, as we're going to have a chance to go 3 wide on Kyle Larson, and that number 42 of Tyler Reddick didn't quite take it there, as the door didn't quite open when I was hoping it would. But now up that right hand side of the number 5 Brandt Chevrolet Camaro there, and sure enough back up into P22 as we continue to work our way forwards there, as I got up on 2 wheels again from that curb, and I was thinking I was going around again, so I immediately overcorrected back to the right and nearly turned it that way instead. So as we continue on though, the number 78 of CJ McLaughlin, he's already crossed the line. He's won the second stage already, and now we're going to make a 3 wide move here on the number 99 of Sam Mayer, as well as the 42 of Tyler Reddick. 42 car though, he's able to stay ahead of me there as I nearly just slam into the back of him as 10th place crosses the line. Caution comes out. P21 is what we get in stage 2. So it was not very good, but I look at it. Okay, so we got Harrison Burton, of course, he got eliminated from the playoffs, so we don't have to worry about him. But Brad Keselowski, Brandon Jones, they're still in the playoffs below the cut line, and they beat us here in stage 2. So there's a little bit to be concerned about, but not too much now. It's all down to how we do in this third and final stage. And of course, we're about to give up a bunch of positions because we got to do 12 seconds of repairs to the car, 4 fresh tires, as well as 2 cans of fuel here now, as we're going to get ready to go green for the start of stage 3, where we will now restart all the way down in P38. So definitely not shaping up to be at least a good start to stage 3, but hopefully here with 10 laps on the board, we have plenty of time to work our way back forwards and at least get a top 10 out of it. I think if we can get a top 10, or even maybe just a top 15, I'll be pretty confident with what the point situation looks like, and of course we're just hoping that a guy like Keselowski or Brandon Jones, who are currently inside the top 10, do not pick up a victory here, as that would at least make it a little bit tougher going into Iowa now as we sail it off into turns 2, and we are going very deep into the corner. Thank goodness we got the car slowed down in time before anything catastrophic happened there, but now we're already up towards the top 30, so we know we got the speed in this car. It's all about just keeping it clean, and I feel like I just make continuous mistakes at this racetrack, not only here in the career mode, but like I mentioned earlier, as well in the Nitro Racing League. Now going down the straightaway though, down towards turn 3, I decided to just kind of chill behind Joey Logano. I knew what had happened earlier, of course, him being a rival. I said, you know what, I'm just going to play it safe here for a little bit now. So as we come through these little bendy turns, now just trying to keep this car clean, in good shape, make some aggressive moves at the same time. Kyle Busch is 3 wide in front of us between the number 3 and the 82 of Christian Eckes, but then he pulls out of it, and now I'm side by side with Kyle Busch here as we go up his left-hand side. So we know we got this possibility of still getting a top 10, and maybe if a caution comes out at the right time, maybe we've kind of found the groove and we might even be able to go up and contend for a top 5 or even a win. But of course that's quite a long shot at this point here as I look up the left hand side of our rival of Joey Logano through the penultimate corner down towards that final turn. We're going to get clear of him right there. I got a little bit desperate there with that move, and that allowed Joey to actually stay within contact of myself here as he pushes us down the straightaway just a little bit, but fortunately can't quite get to us in turns 1. So we continue on our way now, making it 3 wide with Kyle Larson. Same move that I made on Hamlin earlier when I ended up spinning around, but I got off the throttle. I was a lot more safe on that throttle, and fortunately we did not actually crash the car this time. So now as we go down towards the right-hander, though, we go a little bit wide, and just as we're talking about not crashing around, we get clipped from the 16 of Justin Haley, and that fully spins us around. Now I gotta wait for the whole field to go around because I can't come back in oncoming traffic, and we get back going. How did we just spin that car out? It was very straightforward here. I'm gonna slow it down and show you exactly what happened right here. I entered wider than I had all day in this corner, and the curb just straight up spun me out. I mean, I was on the throttle still, and it just kicked the car out. We almost had a chance to get it back going in the right direction, then the 16 ended up turning me around. So I had gotten back to Bubba Wallace. I'd actually passed him already here within the next lap, but I was just so frustrated, and you can tell I was making an insane amount of mistakes. I was just so aggravated in this car right now here as we came through a little bit late on to lap 18, though. There's some trouble in front of us. It's the 21 of Anthony Alfredo has blown a tire, a huge hit into the barrier there as this car did not seem to want to slow down. The caution actually comes out with 8 laps to go, and unfortunately we're forced into the pit lane, so we can't like stay on, try to maybe hang on to the win. And unfortunately Brandon Jones is now leading this race. I mean, great for him, but not great for any of us that come into this race above the cut line. So unfortunately, again, we're gonna have to restart down in P37 here for a late race restart. What a frustrating race, to say the least, it has been. It has not been good. I think we've crashed more times in this race than we have maybe even all season long. I might be wrong on that, probably am, but only 4 laps remain here in Mid-Ohio, so it was not looking good. It was not looking in favor of us right now, and thank goodness we had such a lucky race in Kansas in the last episode to start off this round, because we didn't have a good race in Kansas. We never really ran in the top 10, and we just got lucky with points there. It was a bit of a desperate move. I realized I braked too late, and I knew I had to cut across the 8 of Zane Smith if I wanted to keep the front end of this car in good condition, and that allowed me to get up to P32, now 31st, up into the top 30 here as we pass the number 47 of Ross Chastain, and then look to the left-hand side of Joey Logano. We get past him just about now as we are behind that number 18 Toyota Camry here of Kyle Busch. Now as we go down into turn 3, everybody is just so aggressive into this corner. Everyone just drives into the back of each other, just moves each other around. They're not afraid to get just physical here at this road course now, as the number 96 of Brandon Jones continues to lead the way. As you guys know, next season that team is going to be completely rebranded. Brandon Jones will still remain behind the wheel of that 96 car, but it will be now under the AlphaTauri branding here as I decide to muscle my way through that 22 of Joey Logano as we came through that penultimate turn. All the Penske cars 3 wide for a moment behind us now as we're side by side with Daniel Hemrick. I got a little bit annoyed with him right there. I let him know about it now as I got into the side of him, and then Logano was right behind myself going into turns 1 That's not the first time here today that I've sailed the 12 off into turns 1, but unfortunately, that allows that guy right there, Joey Logano, to get back up my left-hand side. Fortunately, nothing comes out of it here, and as we go down into turns 2, we're going to have a chance here as the 22 actually pushes us into the corner, and that actually kind of allows me to get alongside his teammate of Daniel Hemrick. But running out of time very quick here from Mid-Ohio in what has been a terrible race for us here in this round of 8, and it looks like we're going to go 2 straight races here in the round of 8 without even a top 10, and if you would have told me we could be above the cut line without finishing in the top 10 in the first 2 races of this round, I would not believe you. But here we are with a chance to do that now as we continue to fight our way through, passing that 17 to Chris Buescher. I kind of forced him wide there at this point. I was just taking any positions I could get now. So we come through to the final 2 laps of this race, and without a caution, it looks like Brandon Jones is about to win his way in to the final 4 here. He won the Daytona 500. He won at Sonoma Raceway earlier this season. He won back-to-back. He won the first 2 races, I think it was, or whatever, of the season, or first 2 of 3, and now here he is about to win his way into the final 4 for the 3rd time this season. Now a little bit later, with 2 laps to go, I got into the back of the 3 of Austin Dillon. Once again, they just slowed way down way earlier than I expected, so I damaged the car quite a bit now as we come through to the final lap, and Brandon Jones is already well into this final lap, so as long as he doesn't have some type of error or engine failure, tire failure, he is golden here, and he will be able to pick up the win today. Very frustrating, of course, seeing that, because I knew as I came out of turns 1, there's absolutely nothing I can do about that number 96 car winning this race except just accepted the fact that he's about to win and completely mess up the playoff grid even further. Now as we get to the back of the rookie of Christian Eckes there in that Red Bull, we're going to look up the right-hand side of him and go down this long straightaway here one final time here as we run now in P20. I mean, we at least had a decent comeback considering where we were earlier, and even at the beginning of this stage, all the way down to what, P38, P39 or something like that. So nonetheless, it's been a strong comeback, but I don't know if it's going to be enough here. As you can see, a lot of cars up there together, and I was really pushing hard here to try and get to those guys like Matt DiBenedetto, as well as the number 48 of Alex Bowman, because every single point is going to matter at this point here in the season. So I'm doing everything I can as Brandon Jones, he's coming to the final corner down the front straightaway. Brandon Jones wins in Mid-Ohio. He is advanced to the final 4 now, shocking everybody. What a playoff run it has been for that Gaunt Brothers Racing team here as we come through now down into the penultimate corner for the final time. Now to the back of the 99 of Sam Mayer. We might have a chance there, get a little bit sideways through the final turn. Another mistake there, and that slip up allows him to stay clear, and we come through to cross the line to finish in P20 here from Mid-Ohio. An absolute disastrous race for us. Not what we expected, to say the least here. So we are probably going to lose some points above that cut line, especially with Brandon Jones winning. That automatically really means we lost points here. So we're going to get a look at what that playoff grid looks like here at the end of this race. As you see the rest of the finishing order on your screen, Logano only finished in 31st place, and here you're going to see the grid. Logano now is 13 points below the cut line. We are the last car in. So if Logano, Elliott, Keselowski, or DiBenedetto win, well, then it becomes a race between myself and Kyle Busch. But Logano's only 13 points out. He can make that up. Elliott can even make 21 up in a perfect scenario. Keselowski could somehow make 25 up. Very unlikely, though, for the 9 and the 41. And then DiBenedetto's 45 out. He's pretty much in a must-win situation. So, unfortunate for him, as you see now the Truck Series grid going into the next episode at Martinsville for the Trucks and Xfinity Series. And then, of course, we have Iowa to determine who makes the final 4 here in the career mode. So as always, if you guys enjoyed, you know what to do. It's going to be quite the interesting race, I think. I mean, last time we came here, it did not start off well, but we ended up finishing, I think, top 5 at least. So I'm confident we can have a good run there once again. And of course, quick thank you to the Going Racing members here of MJ, Joseph 9001, Timothy Arline, Bubba Jr., Brett Durward, Dark Gengar Gaming, AJ Vasura, Russell Dixon, Kenneth Barnett, Dana9302, as well as King Matt XL. You guys help me out so much, and I really do appreciate the continued support. Thank you once again, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day, everybody.